Hello and welcome everyone to Let's Play Tomb Raider 2 Remastered. This is guys 115 speaking, and let me welcome you to the finale of the Doria levels, the deck. We are gonna get our hands on all 3 secrets, unlocking the Codex of Doria achievement. We are gonna get our hands on all 35 goodies, and we are gonna kill 25 out of 30 enemies in this run, because this is a no fish soup today run, and as a result, we are not gonna hurt 3 sharks in this level. Furthermore, there is an achievement which asks us not to enter a particular body of water in this level, meaning we will also not spawn the appearance of 2 divers. However, if you are interested in all the kills, there is a very easy way from the end of the level to retrace a couple of steps back to the same area with the 3 sharks and the 2 divers, and you can then additionally scoop up all the kills after we unlock the No Fish Soup Today achievement. So I'm gonna guide you through that. Furthermore, there are 4 achievements we are going to unlock in this level overall, but there is also the fire safety achievement. I have not forgotten about you since the diving area. We will actually encounter 5 flamethrower wielders in this level, so we are going to make a massive progress, bringing us from 3 out of 9 to 8 out of 9. And I'm gonna show you how to do that at the very end of this video as a little bit of a bonus montage, because the first 3 flamethrower wielders are easily accessible from the very beginning of the deck level, and the final 2 are actually the final 2 enemies of this level and will be accessible if you make a very smart save before finishing the level and before killing them off. So that's essentially the plan. It's a lot to keep in mind. I'm gonna challenge myself just a bit further, and I'm gonna try and beat this level without using a medpack. Those of you who are familiar with the deck level know how tough this is, because there is gonna be a mandatory drop, which is gonna take away somewhere between 80 and 90% of your health. So, there is a trick to do this, but your biggest threat will be the shotgun wielders, because those guys are snipers. They're ridiculously precise. Now, before we begin, for full transparency's sake, when we tackled the living quarters, I showed you my all kills playthrough. This time, I have went back to the Wreck of Doria No Fish Soup Today playthrough. I beat the living quarters, and the No Fish Soup Today playthrough is what I'm going to show you today, because there are those 3 sharks we need to avoid here, and we're finally going to see if our efforts from 40 Fathoms and Wreck of Doria and today's level will pay off and the achievement will unlock. Okay? I'm then also going to replay the deck level using my all kills playthrough, but that's not going to be part of this video because I'm essentially going to show you everything here and now. Just keep in mind, if you are interested in all the 30 kills of this level, you can scoop up the 2 divers and 3 sharks very easily at the very end via retracing your steps, okay? Now, since this is our No Fish Soup Today playthrough, you will see that we have just a billion of harpoons. But I'm also going to show you how to beat the level without using them. You actually don't need the harpoon gun anymore in this level, okay? The 3 sharks can be very easily killed from the surface. And it's also going to be the level where we are going to run out of our automatic pistols ammunition and finally switch to the Uzis, sort of the final upgrade of the pistols. Oh, I can't wait. Now, talking about the automatic pistols, let's take them out, because there'll be an ambush around the corner over here. And that's the first flamethrower guy already. So, like you can see, very easily accessible from the get-go, and just like before, the flamethrower wielders never ever drop anything, okay? That's one guarantee you have in life. I'm not sure if that's the case in the Golden Mask expansion levels, but it is here. Mind the grenades here, and I think since we finally emerged, let me talk a bit about the level structure. So, you can already tell why the level is aptly named the deck. We start at the bottommost part of the ship deck, and we want to work our way up top, towards the very top. Because on the top of the final deck, at the very top, is a key. Let me show you if we can just get a glimpse of it. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Easier to see in the original graphics, but there you have it. And this key unlocks a storage room at the bottom of this level, and the storage room contains the Seraph that we and Bartoli's henchmen are after. Seraph being an important object of religious significance to the monks in Barkan Monastery. Now, let me show you. Yeah, we can peek through the storage room, even though it's locked. Using the photo mode, we can take a peek inside, and let me reduce the FOV as much as I can, because it sort of doubles as a zoom function. And there we go. I did prefer it a bit more in the original graphics, but there you have it. And it is behind the door over here and the lock, okay? So that's what we need the key for. To begin with, we need to get down, because under the bottom deck of the ship is this hull split into two parts, and this is where we're gonna emerge. And also, we want to get our hands on another key item. By the way, if you remember the living quarters level, these windows were transparent and giving us a sneak peek of the deck level, okay? And the same thing when we went around the corner here, where was the level end, these were all transparent. Unfortunately, that's no longer the case, they're just blend like this. I would wish in the remasters, even though they're faithful to the originals, I would wish they would give us an inaccessible blocked off sneak peek of the living quarters end, but alas. Now, you can make an absolutely stylish swan dive here and even roll once. Unfortunately, it is not enough to roll twice, so you are only gonna unlock one of those achievements. And now let's stay in the water because we want to lure the two barracudas out. Oh, there they are. Since this is the no fish soup playthrough, we could easily take out the harpoon gun and kill them, but I want to show you how you can do that should you have harpoon shortage, okay? Now, where are those bastards? Oh, there's one. And there's another. Awesome. Thought they would hide away from us. Oh no, not a chance. Okay, now the entire reason was not just to get down here to the bottom level, but also get our hands on this lovely key, and this one actually has a name attached to it, stern key, okay? So we know which part of the ship it belongs to. That is, assuming you know what a stern is. I actually had no idea. I looked up the word online to see the Slovak translation, which said korma, and I realized I have no bloody idea what korma is and what part of ship it is, so that didn't help. Thankfully, for the purposes of beating the level, all you need to know is just which door to unlock, okay? And you can let the imagination do the rest. If you know anything about ships, unlike me, maybe it will make sense to you, hopefully. This area reminds me of the beginning of Living Quarters. We are even welcomed by a thug over here. Now, we are on the right part of the broken off hull. In the left path is the second flamethrower wielder and a trapdoor we can already access, but first we need to wrap up business here. Now, let's take care of this guy, and let's make sure Lara will already start aiming. Wonderful. These guys just cannot take damage. Again, they don't drop anything. So, let me explain a couple of things. I think via photo mode will be faster. I already showed you the storage room, where by picking up the Seraph once we unlock it will trigger the level end. However, let me draw your attention to this corner with a small lake and a broken off propeller blocking off a path to a cave. This is where we want to go, but since the path is completely blocked off by the damn propeller, we'll need to find a way underneath this cave to get there. And that is the sole reason why we want to unlock the stern, okay? That we, thankfully, have a key from. But it's not just a simple business of unlocking it. To do that, we need to solve a block puzzle, whereas we want to move this block out of the way, so first we need to move this block out of the way. You cannot pull or push blocks if they already have a block on top of them. Just an interesting bit of trivia, because I don't think we've been in such a situation in TR1. So we can just absolutely get this one out of the way. And now we'll essentially need to push or pull two blocks out of the way, and that's essentially it. And again, I love block puzzles in theory, but given how weighty and slow Lara's animations are, I don't enjoy them quite as much here. I understand this is part of the same design philosophy that was applied since times of Tomb Raider 1. They wanted to give Lara realistic weight to all her movements, okay? But so as not to make her feel cartoony, but my god, this is taking ages. I really love what they did in Legend Anniversary Underworld Trilogy, where it was much faster, the blocks seemed lighter, and you could actually turn when pulling and pushing. Huge improvement. There we go, Box of Flares is our reward. If you find yourself here without the stern key, you know which cavern you need to go back to, but thankfully that's not our case. And once we go inside, my favorite track is gonna play, so I'm gonna be silent. It's so simple, I don't know why I love it so much. Now, before you venture outside, please be very careful, especially if you're trying to beat the level without using medpacks, because of course there's now gonna be a shotgun wielder waiting here to snipe Lara. And of course, this bastard can shoot through movable blocks. It's absolutely beyond ridiculous. So what I'm gonna try and do is make a jump for it here and climb up these two crates to maybe take him down from. We need to be very careful. The reason is, looking at our health, there's gonna be a mandatory drop very soon, which is gonna take away 80 or 90% of our health, so we must not get hit by anyone at this stage. Okay. Oh, looked dangerous. Okay, now let's climb these up, and maybe we'll be able to take aim and finish him off. I think we did it! Ah, awesome. So it's crucial at this stage you avoid taking any damage whatsoever to survive the mandatory drop without using a medpack beforehand. It's another one of those, like in the beginning of the Wreck of Maria Doria, where the devs will give you a large medpack before, but come on, using medpacks, that's, I don't know, feels so dirty. Okay. By the way, I'm not trying to shame anyone who uses medpacks, it's completely fine. It's just my pride and ego because I know these games so well that I kind of like to minimize that as much as possible. Okay. And now, this is the reason why we didn't originally enter this trapdoor, because the one over here would be blocking our path for the ladder, unless we entered the stern first and pulled the underwater lever. Now, it might not seem like it, but we actually drained water inside the stern. And whilst I wasn't talking, I was instead enjoying the lovely piece of music, there was a movable block underwater blocking our path, okay? Now that there's no longer water, we can actually get inside by getting it out of the way, and it will lead onto the cavern blocked by the propeller via an underground tunnel, okay? So yeah, this level is absolutely confusing, but my god, is it so much fun to pull off once you know where everything is. I would even compare it to Tomb Raider 4, The Last Revelation, because again, the biggest problem here isn't like the raw difficulty of encounters or anything like that, it is the confusing level design. But once you know it, it's an absolute joy to play through. Okay, let's pull it out one more time. And I'm thinking about making a save once we climb out of the water, because there is an achievement that is ridiculously easy to mess up, so hopefully you will forgive me for that. And where do we go from here? Oh, I think this should work. Okay, and now, like I promised, we are now on the other side of the propeller, okay? Now, we have not taken any damage whatsoever yet, so we are well primed for the drop, but let me save the game here, and now I'm in a sense thinking I'm gonna leave the flamethrower wielders for the fire safety achievement for our all kills playthrough. So I have no qualms whatsoever about oversaving our no fish soup today playthrough, level beginning. Now what you see on the screen is the achievement I talked about, Landwalk, asking us to get our hands on a key on the inflatable raft at the center of this underground lake without touching the water. Which is funny because it's a direct translation again of an achievement from Retro Achievements called Aquaphobia, which asks us to do the same thing. That for me on the PlayStation 1 version of this game was a very good practice on how to do it, and thankfully I'm happy to report I still remember the path. So normally you would enter this body of water to reach the other side of the cavern, to reach a series of caves for you to go up and then drop down here and get your hands on the key on the boat. There is no other way. However, you can go and use the rocks at the side of the cave to go all around and reach the series of caves without touching the water, and that's what the achievement asks us to do, okay? In case you're not gonna enter the body of water here, you're also gonna avoid the appearance of two divers guarding the stone dragon secret over here. So, that's one thing. Secondly, there are gonna be 3 sharks that are gonna appear as soon as you pick up the key, and our challenge will be, once picking it up, to go down to the water, collect the secret, and avoid getting bitten by the sharks, okay? Let's just keep all that in mind, and I think it's gonna be even more visible and easier to understand if I light up a flare here. So again, a series of jumps, This took me a while to practice, okay? So do not be discouraged in case you keep sliding down into the water all the time. This isn't easy, and it's, I think, very nice to acknowledge that. Okay, that was a difficult jump, but on we go. And now we can make this without grabbing, and this jump actually will be possible only via grabbing, and Lara's feet will actually touch the water. See? But this will not invalidate the achievement, thankfully. As long as she's not fully submerged, you are fine. And now let's watch out for the ceiling. There we go. And I think another running jump should just about make it. Wonderful. Yeah, this looks slippery. And this looks slippery as well, but it in fact is not. So let's climb up. So we made it to the other side without fully touching the water. And now all we gotta do is make another running jump. Let's see. Yay! Awesome. And now the final one can be a bit tricky, because you might be thinking the higher we are the better, but watch out for the low ceiling above where Lara can not hit her head, but it can reduce her trajectory, okay? There we go. And now one more jump should just about do it. There we go. And we have successfully avoided touching water. The achievement does not unlock yet, you still need to get the key, okay? By the way, there is gonna be a barracuda that's only gonna spawn if we swim through this tiny gap, okay? Until that point, she will not even appear. Or it, whatever. Now, I'm getting the M16 out because there is another shotgun wielder that can make us take damage and ruin our no medpacks efforts. Thank God we were quick enough. Good. And this way we've avoided taking any damage whatsoever, and we're now approaching the point where we are going to lose most of our health, okay? But this is the only way to do this without using a medpack. And it should be just around there. By the way, we passed a corridor. Let's keep it in mind for later. That actually leads to a series of caves, which is going to take us to the very top of this level. But since we don't have the key from the raft yet, there is no point. And there we go. Like I talked about, they did it again. They give you large medpack and then, yeah, enjoy the damage. Wonderful. Important caveat, make sure to use any of these ledges to, well, this one or this one, to make a safety drop. Using this one or that one, these are a bit higher, you will take more damage, okay? So the one where the medpack was in a sense perfect. And there we go. Yeah, about somewhere between 80 and 90% of damage, and a land walk unlock, get a cabin key from the inflatable boat without swimming in the lake. And now, the moment you did that, 3 sharks have appeared and Lara already starts aiming at them. So, let's get to the water and try and get our hands on the stone dragon without getting bit by the sharks, okay? I wouldn't want us to invalidate the no fish super achievement this close to unlocking it. Oh god, no. God damn it, sharks. I hate you so much. Go on, finish it, I don't care. You know what, guys? I'm gonna see you back at this spot when dropping for the key. Okay, back here again. Let's grab the key and the harpoon gun ammo, and rather than spend time talking, immediately go for the stone dragon to avoid the sharks to the best of our ability. Gosh darn it. Normally, we'd be able to just kill them, shooting at them from the raft, but we have no such luxury because of that bloody achievement. It's been a nightmare haunting us for the past 4 levels. I can't wait for it to be over. Let me quickly open that. Oh, no. I'm not gonna open up photo mode. I can see the shark already there. Whew, look at them. These monsters. And you know what? I think I'm gonna take a screenshot. Let's see what the finale to the no fish soup today will end up like. Okay, and now the moment you swim under this crevice, there is a barracuda here. Okay, keep that in mind. Again, getting bit by it or killing it does not invalidate the achievement in any way. Okay, I trust you, Lara, that you've only been shooting at the barracuda, not the sharks. I guess we'll find out at the very end, won't we? Now, what is the key we picked up? It's called a cabin key. This is not a key that unlocks the storage space with the Seraph. It's a key that unlocks one of the areas that's gonna allow us to get there, okay? Oh, and before I forget, there is actually a little ledge with some more Uzi ammunition and a thug guarding it. I'm just so made so nervous by the sharks that I do not even want to approach it. But you can again avoid water from here. I'm sorry, I just couldn't wait to use Uzis to get more Uzi ammunition. But for now, let's, I guess, switch back to the automatics. We still have a few bullets left. Now I'm very nervous that even skirting the edges of this cave will somehow make the sharks initiate the biting ammunition, but hopefully that will not be the case, okay? If the achievement at the very end of the stat screen will not unlock, I'll assume it's because of what we did here in this cavern. I will do thorough testing should that be the case, and I'll tell you how I managed to unlock it. You will always see it on screen, don't you worry. I don't want you to just leave empty-handed with no information on how to do that. By the way, I tested it. Using level skip cheats will not unlock the no fish soup. There is no easy way to do it, I'm afraid. However, using level skip cheats will allow you to very quickly unlock the fire safety achievement, strangely enough, which is really cool. But I'll talk a bit more about that in the final chapter of this video. Okay, lots of climbing up. Like I said, this is gonna take us to the very top. And yeah, essentially, it's possible to finish to complete the level without taking any more damage than this. But I'm not saying it's gonna be easy, okay? So first of all, there's gonna be a thug with a wrench climbing from the gap over there. Let's take care of him. And employing our photo mode, this shotgun wielder can either ambush you from this side, or sometimes it's a bit more rare from that side, so it's always a good idea to scout ahead. And you know what? There's only one correct way to treat these people. There we go, just a taste of their medicine, you know what I mean? Now, we are on the top deck, but we're not on the roof of the top deck, where the key for the storage space with the Seraph is. And in order to get here, we'll actually need to go down. And this is perhaps the single most confusing thing about the entire level. Oh, by the way, very easy to miss grenades here, okay? Because they're not in the center of the square, but sort of stuck towards one side. Now, what we gotta do is essentially get down by one level. Now we can already summon a thug holding a wrench, and he's gonna attempt to climb up to the deck. Remember, enemies can move through slippery spaces, and that's exactly how this henchman will start climbing up here. Okay, let's give him some time, so he doesn't drop on a slippery surface. And again, let's summon the other one, if you touch this side of the deck. Okay, none of them should drop anything, but I just wanted to be absolutely sure, okay? So that's it, we took care of two of these guys. Now, if you fall down, you can still get back up in case you missed anything here, using one of the pushable blocks, okay? But if you really know the level through and through, you never need to engage with those. So, first of all, behind the pushable block, and the cool thing is you don't even need to move it out of the way, is M16 ammunition. Ah, the sweetest ammunition there is. And now, let's finish off a Barracuda inside this pool. This pool actually contains this level's second secret. I guess it depends in the order in which you pick them up, but let me show you something cool. Should you get into the water, the panel over here will open and you'll be ambushed by a diver who hasn't spawned yet, but he will once this thing opens up, okay? To avoid that, you can use a really neat trick. And that's just to sort of run through the corner like this. And a flame wielder. Oh my god, no, Lara, we're not using pistols, remember? That was a very awkward timing to run out of ammo. Anyway, you'll also be ambushed by a flamethrower wielder, but at least you're close to the pool, so it's very easy to douse yourself. Let's be careful so stray harpoon doesn't kill us, okay? And this way, before even entering the water, we took care of the flamethrower wielder, the diver, and the Barracuda. It's the best way I know of. Yay! Awesome! By the way, the reward for this level's secret, well, of course, other than the achievement, will be grenade gun ammo, which we're also gonna put to great use later on in the game. Okay, and the other side had the M16 clips behind the block, this one has Uzi clips, okay? That's essentially it. Now, you can again choose whether you want to engage with the right side of the lower deck or the left one. If you're interested in all the kills, I'd recommend the left one, because there's gonna be a shotgun wielder there. Oh, be careful he doesn't kill you. I'm nervous, I'm not gonna lie. There we go. Now, thankfully, this guy drops nothing. So you have absolutely no reason whatsoever to descend into this part of the deck. Again, you have a pushable block here, so you can move it into position to climb back up. But I think it's better not to even get here, okay? What we're actually interested in, now that we killed the shotgun wielder, is the other side of the mid deck. If this is confusing to you, well, that's because it is. And here, you should see, I think, another pushable block. But again, there's nothing underneath it. There is no reward for moving it out of the way or anything like that, okay? So you do not need to engage with these pushable blocks at all, which is gonna save you a lot of time. The reason I recommend you choose the right side of the deck is essentially to make this jump. And if this looks familiar, that's because it should, because underneath, make sure not to fall down here, unless you're not stingy about using corner glitches, this is where we began. We encountered the first flamethrower guy, the henchman, and this is where the transparent windows to the living quarters were, okay? So it's now coming together somewhat. And now I'm gonna do perhaps the most controversial and confusing thing in the whole level, and that is, I will not pick up the third and final secret. Yet. Because we're gonna find ourselves here a bit later on, once we have the storage cabin key, okay? For now, let's just make the jump over here. The propeller is a bit of a hint that you should investigate over there. But here, all we gotta do is essentially make a drop and grab and keep shimmying to the left. This is gonna allow us to enter a short side dungeon covered with salt. I guess you could, since we are in sea and surrounded by seawater, it's only natural there are places with salt being created. And this is one such tunnel. I don't think you need to hold action. Wonderful. And I don't know why, I'm always confusing these tunnels with those in the underground cavern leading to the top of the boat. And I always wondered in the past if this is salt. And I'm happy to say, yeah, that's exactly what it looks like in the remasters. So my theory from the days of my childhood was correct, which is simply always a rewarding feeling. And now we're gonna make use of a couple of ledges, which are very difficult to see in the dark, so let's fix that straight away. Alrighty then. And now just a couple more. Okay, guns out, 2 henchmen over here. Only one of them drops the large medpack, so we don't have to worry that the other one dropped on a slippery slope, okay? We don't care about that guy one bit. Which is perhaps a bit of a rude thing to say, but come on. They want to smash Lara's head to bloody pulp. Okay, and now, by going down a couple of decks, we find ourselves on the roof of the top deck. I think this side dungeon with the salt mines is the single most confusing design element of the deck level, and the reason why so many people are stuck and frustrated. Me and my brother included back when we were kids. It was a nightmare. We were so scared of this level. And this is the trapdoor we wanted to get into, and you know what? I'm gonna throw a flare and get our shotgun out so we see the enemy that's gonna ambush us. There it is. Okay, this is very nasty if you're not expecting it, and with this much health we have remaining, that would spell the doom for us. Whew, especially on New Game Plus, holy moly. Okay, some more automatic pistols ammo, but I'm now committed to Uzis. There might be some weaker enemies, some animals in the next geographical location of the game, where I might employ automatic pistols rather than Uzis, we'll see. Okay, the door has opened, you can already see a corpse on the other side. This is where we fought off the range guy and the shotgunner, okay? Where we set up an ambush as he was coming around the corner, so we are now inside that huge building. Behind this block is a switch which opens up a door. And it's making me very nervous because we'll be subject to an ambush from, I think, another shotgun wielder, if my memory serves me well. And I just don't fancy that. Given one shot from his shotgun is enough to kill us at this point. Okay. And now, using the photo mode, let's see where he's gonna... Oh, okay. So, same business as before, Lara. You know the drill. Whew. Thank you, photo mode. Thank you so much. Awesome. More automatic pistols ammo. And we are now slowly approaching the final 3 enemies of the level. I already said that the final 2 are gonna be flamethrower wielders. which you can dispatch easily from safe distance, but there's gonna be still one more, a thug, which again, if you not expect, can be a bit of a nightmare to take down. By the way, keep in mind the M16 ammo over here. This was so difficult to see, especially in the original graphics. And this is what we're using the cabin key from the inflatable raft for. What's, I guess, one of the frustrations of this level is to get your hands on this key and make it to the storage room with the Seraph, thinking you can unlock it, and Lara just saying no. Because you need to put it here, and even getting here is so incredibly hard and confusing, okay? Now, one thing I always look forward to, breakaway tiles, all 7 of them, yay! Okay. And now let's use the other row. Of course, you can always make a grab and jump. And you know what, I'm gonna use automatic pistols for you. There we go. So that's it, only 2 more flamethrower wielders. And the door we now unlocked, using a combination of entering the roof over here, pulling a switch there, exiting, entering here, unlocking the door, and pressing a switch there. There is a third rusted cabin over here that we now opened, and that's gonna allow us to get to the top with the key to the storage cabin with the Seraph. It's a lot to keep in mind, I get it. But you know what, once it clicks, it's just so much fun to run through in a good amount of time. I'm probably not convincing you to like this level, am I? You probably hate it, and me talking about how much I love it is just alienating you further. But I don't know why, I'm just having a blast. Okay. We only saved once before the inflatable raft for the achievement, so I am getting a bit nervous. And actually, we are gonna take a bit more damage when picking up the the third secret of the level, okay? So, let's see how we'll do. Thankfully, you'll take no damage over here. And there we go, the final key item of the level is ours. And quite nicely, it even tells you what it's for, storage key, okay? I love little hints like these. Now, let's ensure we jump onto the steel grader with the moss covering it, because that's the highest point. I'm not sure if we took some damage from that fall, it was barely visible. And now all we gotta do is make it safely a couple of decks down, just like before, to make it onto the stone pillar, which is gonna allow us to pick up the final secret of the level. And this is the reason why I ignored it before. Hopefully it makes sense and it's coming down together nicely, because otherwise we would have to backtrack quite a bit from its position, or take massive amounts of damage trying to make a running jump through glass shards back onto this thing. Or, as an alternative, we could always just corner glitch on this pillar over here, okay? So, let me get here. Lara, I'm gonna ask you to climb up and walk through the glass safely. By the way, the welcoming committee guarding the storage room that we now have a key for, 2 flamethrower wielders and the final enemies of the level. Okay, so first of all, let's pick up the secret. There we go, all those grenades and Codex of Maria Doria. Collect all secrets in Maria Doria levels. Finally, I love the achievement icon for this thing, just the whole ship turned upside down. Falling down, you take some minor damage, unfortunately it's unavoidable. And now, I'm wondering whether I should make a save here or not. Because the best way to deal with this situation is to just take your guns out and kill these guys from safe distance. Their fire cannot reach you here. But I want to create a backup for the fire safety achievement, you know what I mean? So instead, I'm gonna do this via a more dangerous way, and that is, we again need to get down. And the best way we do it, remember we're in the starting deck, is to essentially swan dive into the cave with the 2 barracudas and the stern key. Alrighty then. Oh, I love doing this, just never gets old. Okay, and now we are swimming through very familiar looking tunnels, and we should emerge closer to the flamethrower wielders, but still safe from their flames. I mean, worst case scenario, you can even douse yourself in this here body of water, right? That we're now emerging from. Okie dokie, and now what I'd recommend is in fact approaching the storage cabin from this side, because this is gonna create a hill which will allow you to selectively approach the flamethrower wielders, if you're interested in the fire safety, so you'll know which one exactly set Lara on fire. So let me make a save here for our fire safety reference, And let me show you instead how to take care of them without taking any damage. Now, M16 would be the most obvious choice, but come on, that would feel maybe like an overkill. You can also use a grenade launcher quite nicely. And once you're locked on, there's very little they can do to prevent taking damage themselves. That's it, both flamethrower wielders down. We should now be missing one item that's behind the door, the Seraph itself, which is gonna trigger the level exit, and 5 enemies. There are 2 divers we haven't spawned, just like I talked at the beginning of the level, and 3 sharks we haven't killed. What we want to do before we go back to mop up those kills is unlock the No Fish Soup Today achievement, and my heart is absolutely racing right now, because I do not know if we haven't made some mistake I never noticed in 40 Fathoms Wreck of Maria Doria, or when picking up the Stone Dragon here in the deck level. Let's see. I'm gonna lose it if we will not unlock the achievement. The moment of truth, Lara. Yes! Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Okay. No Fish Soup Today is unlocked. So that means the previous 3 videos I worked on are legit strategies on how to unlock it. You cannot believe what relief this is, because, you know, I could always dig around and figure out what the mistake was. But then I have to put disclaimers to my previous videos that look here at this timestamp I made a mistake, be careful about that, you know, all sorts of stuff. I was even considering, just because of this achievement, to not release a single video until I have all 4 covered and recorded, but I didn't want you to wait for 2-3 weeks for that, right? I just can't begin to tell you what a relief this is. So, we have beaten the deck level in our No Fish Soup playthrough. We have unlocked all 3 secrets, we have picked up all 35 goodies, including the Seraph itself, which is kind of unavoidable, and we have 25 out of 30 kills of this level. We also didn't use a medpack, a point that I'm very proud of, because this is a tough level to beat without a medpack. Now, if you are interested also in seeing all the kills, stick around for a while, because that's exactly what I'm going to show you next, using the backup save we made just before facing off the flamethrower wielders. And also, if you're interested in learning more about the fire safety achievement, also stick around. Okay, looking at our load screen, here we are back again. This is the save slot we made just before engaging the 2 flamethrower wielders, so apologies for having to see me again take them down, but come on, it's a lot of fun. Okay, let's lock onto the other one. And there we go. So, again, we are missing 5 kills now. 25, we want to raise it to 30. So in case you're interested in scooping all of those up before unlocking the storage room with the Seraph, you need to re-enter the stern, because remember, there is an underground tunnel which is gonna take you to the the underground lake behind the blocked off propeller passage. So let me maybe draw a flare here again. This should look very familiar, and we are gonna use the same tunnel to go back up to the storage cabin, unlock the door and pick up the Seraph. Okay, so again, if you are interested in all the kills, you will have to replay 40 Fathoms and Wreck of Maria Doria, Living Quarters and the deck level, using the strategies I've shown you in my videos in the all kills part. But if you're just interested in maximizing your kills without having to do that, you can scoop up the 5 kills in only the deck level like this. Quite nicely, dare I say. Now there should be a shark welcoming committee, but you know what? We might as well summon the divers via touching the water like this. There we go. Ooh, the sharks are approaching. And soon we should see bubbles which will betray the harpoon gun projectiles from said divers, okay? Oh, I can hear that. Okay, that's 3 sharks taken care of. You can see some bubbles in the distance. Those would be the divers. I'm not sure we'll manage to land a single shot from this distance. Oh, there they are. One on the right and one on the left, peeking from the water surface. You know what? Let's use this surrounding area to do that. No, Lara! Oh my god, you buffoon. Okay, never mind. Let's instead get closer without getting hit. Oh my god, those endless projectiles. Okay, one more. Okay, and that takes care of that. So now, we are at 30 kills. That is all the enemies in this level. This is what I meant, that after unlocking the No Fish Soup achievement, you can easily retrace your steps back into this cavern and scoop up the remaining kills. Also, if you haven't already done so, you can swim under the small crevice diagonally across the other side of this underground lake, and that will trigger the appearance of a barracuda. But we did that already in our Let's Play proper, okay? But perhaps if you're just swimming through the water as quickly as possible and not looking back, you might also miss that fish. So, just something to keep in mind in case you're missing one kill, that could be what it is. Now, using this underground tunnel again, we will re-enter the stern, and this is the fastest way to make it back to the storage cabin with the Seraph after you have scooped up all the kills, okay? Now, I myself, because I want to see all the kills in the final stat screen when we beat the game, I'm gonna now replay the deck level using my all kills playthrough, right? Something I've been working on simultaneously during this Let's Play and showing you all those all kill strategies. But it's up to you entirely to make the decision if this is worth it or not. There is no achievement for killing all the enemies. It's just a, I think, incredibly rewarding feeling, and you can tell yourself you mastered the game. Or you can tell yourself that just by unlocking all the achievements. Entirely up to you. Okay. And let me just do this all over again, so we'll see the stat screen. There we go. This way you have all the 3 secrets, all 35 goodies, all 30 kills. You haven't used any medpacks. The divers at the very end can pose a threat to your health, because those harpoon guns are sneaky and can hit you, so be careful about that. And you have the best stats you can have, at least for the deck level. Again, feel free to replay all the underwater levels if you want to actually see all the kills in the final stat screen. Okie dokie, so thank you for sticking around, and now I have one more task I need to do that I promised you, and that's the fire safety achievement. So now on the screen you see that we have unlocked this for 3 out of 9 enemies in the game. I guess it's time for me to introduce you to the following 5 flamethrower guys, and how best to douse Lara after getting set on fire. This is actually gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, and we are back at the loading screen. So like I said, there are 5 flamethrower wielders in this level. 3 can be accessed from the very beginning of the level, and 2 from the end of the level. Now, because in our No Fish Soup playthrough I saved just before tackling the 2 flamethrower wielders at the very end, we now have a very good access point for those 2, and using my all kills playthrough End of Living Quarters save, we can access the 3 flamethrower wielders at the beginning of the deck level. I can't recommend this saving system enough. It's the easiest way to quickly get to them. But you know, worst case scenario, you'll just play through part of the level until you encounter them, and you'll keep doing that. You'll save multiple times. Whenever you encounter one, let him set you on fire, douse yourself, and then continue, right? So depends what you find more complicated or more convenient. So let me start with the beginning of the deck level. So again, this is our all kills playthrough, that's why I still have this backup, and we now entered the deck level. Remember, when you turn the corner on the right over here, you will be immediately welcomed by the thug with the wrench and the flamethrower wielder. Well, his aim is terrible. And there we go. It's a bit easier on keyboard to use the 9 or 0 hotkeys to heal yourself, but on consoles you can absolutely just keep opening up the inventory, okay? And there we go. And we doused ourselves from the first flamethrower wielder. Now, we can immediately continue down this tunnel over here. Let me heal up again, it doesn't really matter. Because, remember, there is another flamethrower wielder just around the corner, but again, guarded by a wrench-wielding thug. So we're just gonna repeat this process over again. Let's blow him to smithereens, why not? Ah, lovely. Nothing quite like body parts flying across everywhere. Whoa. Really? That wasn't sufficient? Ah, there we go. See, these guys just need a little bit of help. And they can absolutely burn us to a crisp. And the closest access point for a pool of water is, of course, here. Okay, awesome. So that was 2 flamethrower wielders. This way, we are now on number 5 out of 9. There are 4 more in this game that we need to keep in mind. I'm gonna show you another one at the beginning of the deck level. Okay, and now all it will take will be 1 step. But now, rather than swan diving down that cavern, or even letting the first flamethrower wielder set us on fire, we need to find our way up there. And the best way to do this is via corner glitching. Why am I not using that grenade launcher? There we go. So again, this is the quickest way. If you feel sort of dirty about corner glitching at all, you can absolutely make a save just before encountering that guy, and you'll encounter him the same way. Congrats, you skipped essentially half of the deck level, if you're so inclined. Now, we will need to take a couple of steps back to even reach the upper area. Whoa, tough jump over there. Okay. And we'll actually make a use of this pushable block. So first of all, let's move it to the right and then pull it out. And you know what? Let's speed things up a little. Alrighty, does this look familiar? Okay, first of all, there's a thug already approaching from the distance. Do not let anyone else interfere. Make sure to just jump over the corner over here, and the flamethrower wielder's behind you. Yay! And we have just doused ourselves. Oh my god, this is a really bad situation. Let's get to the safety of the loading screen. So now we are at 6 out of 9 enemies for the fire safety achievement, and I'm gonna show you the remaining 2. Now you can either continue playing through the level until you reach the final 2, or since in our No Fish Soup playthrough we made a backup save before killing these final 2 flamethrowers off, that's exactly where I'm gonna take you now, and we're gonna see about letting them set us on fire and dousing ourselves quickly. But it's gonna be tricky because it's easy to confuse one for the other. Let me show you. Okay, here we are. What I find incredibly helpful is to get your hands on the grenade launcher. The reason is you can easily confuse the 2 flamethrower wielders one for another. So it's important to, as soon as you're set on fire by one of them, immediately blow that guy up with a grenade launcher, meaning that the one remaining is the one that hasn't set you on fire yet. Let me show that to you in practice, okay? Okay. Wonderful. So as a bit of a thank you, we blew him up, and we know exactly that it was the one on the right that set us on fire. Now you need to keep in mind a billion of things on the screen because of your constantly depleting health. If you're playing this with a controller or on a console, you need to open the inventory screen every single time to pop a medpack, which is incredibly annoying in my opinion. Okay, and now for the final one. We should be at 7 out of 9, but this way we'll be at 8, if he would be willing to cooperate. Thank you, sir. And now, down we go. These slippery slopes make it also quite annoying, but if you time your jumps right, it can actually quicken the pace with which you get to the lake over here. And my friends, this way we have unlocked 8 out of 9 enemies who set us on fire and we doused ourselves. Again, I'd like to reiterate, like I did in Diving Area, it does not need to be in one playthrough or anything like that. It just is recommended to do it in order, not to go back to previous levels to then do that, because it can reset your progress of the achievement. Something similar with the Circus of Wilkabamba, I think. But this is the most surefire way of doing it. I'm very happy we have 8, and now, one important thing. There's one more enemy left in the game to do this. Now, if you absolutely cannot wait, and having an achievement prepped but not entirely unlocked makes you anxious and nervous, what you can also do is use the level skip cheat 7 times until you reach the penultimate level of the game. Fight 2 gauntlets of enemies with your current ammunition. That shouldn't be much of a problem, really. I mean, 32 grenades, come on. And once you reach the final enemy of the penultimate level, let that enemy set Lara on fire and douse her via one of the billion nearby pools of water, and you will unlock the fire safety achievement. I have tested this on PlayStation 5 in the previous patch version of the game, and despite the fact I used the level skip cheat, fire safety achievement still unlocked. Since the new patch, I have tested this on Good Old Games version of the game, and it still worked. So I think chances are high it works across all platforms of the game. But the one I'm using for Let's Plays is the Steam one, and I want to do it sort of the proper intended way. That means leaving the achievement progress at 8 out of 9 until we reach the penultimate level and unlock it there, okay? Now, in case you're wondering how to even use the level skip cheat, It's essentially the same when we attempted to do it in the diving area where Lara exploded for the achievement, or when we did it successfully in Tomb Raider 1 for Like Dorothy achievement. The difference between a success and failure is drawing a flare before you start inputting the cheat in Tomb Raider 2, right? So that's the only difference between Tomb Raider 1 and 2. So now that we will draw a flare, make a step forward, make a step back, turn Lara to the left 3 times. That is 1, 2, and 3. And now if you jump back, you'll unlock the all weapons cheat. If you jump forward, however, there we go. You will see the final stat screen of the level you are in. And using this method 7 times until you reach the level called the Dragon's Lair, and then fight the final enemy, let him set you on fire and douse Lara in water, you will already unlock the fire safety achievement. It seems that these cheats seem to only disable achievements that are unlockable upon reaching the level end stat screen. But fire safety is not one of them, so you should still be good to collect that achievement, okay? Just be careful not to oversave your playthrough when doing this, just in case something will go wrong, okay? But I just thought I liked pointing it out. Like I said, on PS5 it worked flawlessly, on Good Old Games version of the game it worked flawlessly. I guess we'll find out on Steam once we reach that level. Hopefully guys you found this useful. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really tried to show you everything and cram everything into this massive video. So we have finished the wreck of the Maria Doria. I showed you how to unlock the No Fish Soup Today achievement. I showed you across all 4 videos how to get your hands on all the kills, if that's what you prefer, or if you want both, what is my preferred method of playing through these levels. What I am also about to do is to play the deck level again using my all kills playthrough, and then I'm gonna see you at the beginning of the next level, okay? And I've also showed you how to get those 5 points for the fire safety achievement. Overall, I am very happy with how things turned out. Thank you so much for your patience. It took me ages to work on these, having to play through every level twice on multiple platforms, but I think the results are worth it. Now, before I'll say farewell and start working on the next level in the next geographical location, I would like to say thank you to my absolutely amazing patrons. Blind Goopel, Mick, Severin Drex, Marek Malec and Katie Danger, thank you guys so much for being my Winstons and for having a warm blanket and a hot cup of chocolate ready for Lara once she'll make it out of the freezing ocean. Big thanks to my caretaker Winston, Michael Mac Conky. Thank you so much for supporting me and also for preparing a couple of cushions on the inflatable raft Lara had to drop down onto. Without those cushions you prepared, she would not have survived the fall. Next, I would like to give a special thanks to my veteran Winston, Andrea Paviglianiti. Thank you so much, sir, for supporting my channel and also for using your culinary and cooking skills to short-circuit the flamethrowers wielded by Bartoli's henchmen. Because of their short range, we made it out of the deck without Lara burning to a crisp. And finally, I would like to give a very special thanks to my one and only fine vintage Winston, Akira Foxmind. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in this way, and also thank you for cooking a delicious bowl of fish soup for us. It's waiting in the Croft Manor freezer where you're keeping it under very close watch, and no amount of Bartoli's henchmen are ever gonna break into the manor to steal it away from us. Or are they? And to close with, thank you to everyone watching and also for sharing your fond or other memories of these levels. I know that the underwater Maria Doria levels are not really fan favorites, but for me, coming back to them has always felt like homecoming, with all the anxiety that the fish soup achievement introduced here. Now, you have a lot to look forward to because next time we'll be moving to Tibet, and that chapter of the game contains my absolute most favorite level of this game, which is quite the high bar, seeing as this is my most favorite Tomb Raider, right? So, you have that to look forward to. Please be patient whilst I'll get cracking on it, practicing and working, and I'll see you next time, hopefully very soon, in Tibetan foothills.